Now, colleagues, we have come to the end of a very long day. We started at 10 o'clock this morning, and I think it's, what, 8:45 now? 8:45. So we have spent a very long time on this subject. Now, I'd like, if I may, to make a few observations. First of all, as the Americans say, this is not my first rodeo. In 10 years in this organization, we have debated many subjects and looked at democracy, human rights, and the rule of law very carefully. Over that period of time, as happened today, there are differences amongst our states. And every state that arrives at a position on which it votes arrives at that position out of circumstances which no one should discount. Your circumstances are as important as the next person's. And that is what we have to bear in mind. Now, one of our colleagues here this evening said that this Permanent Council failed democracy. I disagree. This Permanent Council showed itself to be democratic. It had a full discussion of this matter, and everybody who spoke aired their views freely. Some more freely than others, because we had for the first time in this place that I've ever heard, apart from incidentally when the Venezuelan delegation was here, threats being issued to people and attacks being made on them because they chose to vote another way. That is not democracy. Now, some of us do not believe that Venezuela has a rightful place in this organization. And we've been saying so since 2019. Many countries in this room have supported Venezuela or not supported Venezuela like a chameleon. They've changed their positions. But we were within, and I think this is important for me to say at the end of this meeting, we were within a hair's whisker of a consensus resolution today on Venezuela. We did not get there because of people's inflexibility on one point. That one point, in the chair's view, was not worth the resolution we lost. Nonetheless, it was a position taken up by certain countries because of their passion, because of their strong feelings that they could not overcome in order to achieve a broader objective. That was their right. They exercised it. But in the process, we did not have a resolution. I am not disheartened by this, however, and I would urge everyone in this room not to be disheartened by it either. We have been this route before. But once democracy is at stake anywhere in the world, once freedom is at stake anywhere in the world, this Permanent Council will have to address it. And Venezuela, in its circumstances, are not off the agenda of the OAS, and not off the agenda of this Permanent Council. There will be other resolutions and other meetings. And I just hope that when we come to that, we will come to it with an understanding of each other's perspective of matters, try to accommodate one another to achieve the consensus that dictates whether or not resolutions and declarations and positions succeed in this organization. Flexibility was what was needed here today. Unfortunately, flexibility died on one point and one point only. That was regrettable, and I, like everybody else, lament the fact that we did not achieve it. But I do not believe all is lost. It is within the capacity of this organization, as we've shown on numerous occasions in other places, in Guyana, where there were disputed elections, and we stayed the course for 8 long months to ensure that a recount was done and the government that was elected went into office. We did it in Guatemala just recently. where we patiently and painstakingly worked with all parties to make sure that at the end of the day, there was a legitimately elected president in place in Guatemala. All of this can happen again. Flexibility, respect, not bullying, not threats, is what will make us work together. So I leave that meeting with this. We're as much regret as anybody else that we did not succeed in sending a strong message together to Venezuela. But messages were sent nonetheless. So this is not a meeting that should be regarded as a failure. We tried, and we will try again. And that is the one thought with which I'd like to leave you. I think that it concludes this meeting. I thank you all for your participation. The meeting is now adjourned. Adjourned.